I think any artist just wants to become less and less afraid to say publicly what they feel. And it felt really good. So I thought that title makes sense. It sounds very dramatic, but I want to like build a story around it because there really is a story around everyone's album.
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
Well, it's good to see you, even if it is in front of some sort of crazy cement wall that you're sitting in front of.
I'm locked in, Meltdown. I'm always feeling locked in.
Well, great to see you. I'm trying to remember, when was the last time you were in Detroit? I think I drove you around. We went to the Talkin Lounge that night. Remember? No, I think.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah.
The first time we came, you brought us to that really good Mexican restaurant, remember? And I think you
Right.
and Mike were talking sports a lot. And then we took the picture, and Travis had that King Diamond shirt on, which everybody loved the King Diamond shirt, I noticed. So it was a good time. That was some damn good food.
Yeah, that was great. So I think you've been here since then, and I just couldn't make the gig. Because normally you play on the other side of town, which is forever for me to get to. And I had something going on tonight. But you've played Smalls here in Detroit and Hamtramck
Yes.
a few times, correct?
Yes, yes. I think we're coming back to I think June 21st because we're doing a festival. So we built a little tour around it, going into Motoblot in Chicago. So I think we're stopping at I think it's Laguna House. I should have probably checked that before
Yeah.
we jumped on. I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm thinking of Laguna Coil right now, but so not a good time to ask me that question. But it's on our site. I think we played June 21st, and we
Okay.
always love playing with the bands we play with. So
Yeah, and this weekend, as we record this, you're playing with Joan Jett again.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Love playing with Joan Jett and the Black Arts. Love it. Love it. They're a really small organization too. Like they're really great to play with, because there's not, it's a very, like I said, it's very small. Usually in bigger acts, there's like all these people walking around the hallways. I know everybody. We know everybody. They're so gracious to us. They always give us a long set. It's like, as a support act, you usually get 20, maybe 25 minutes. They give us 45 all the time.
hmm.
She's always giving me this kind of like nod of like, keep going, girl. That's it. That's it. And she always asks me if I'm ready to rock before she hits the stage or before sound check. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
Aren't
yeah.
you?
Yeah, what are you supposed to say? Well, I'm not really sure. We'll find out later.
Right.
But it's funny. So I've had the privilege to meet a lot of rock stars. I've never met Joan Jett. So what is she like?
She's exactly what you like. What you see is what you get. She is one of the few people that I've met that just is exactly what you thought she would be. Like, I remember the first time I met her, I was so intimidated by her, and she's a smaller person. Like, I think she's probably up to like my chest. And I like was shaking when I never, normally I'm not like that, but I was shaking. And I could feel like that heartbeat going. And this was in 2018, and it was backstage at her show. And it all happened because Merrill Laguna had heard us and was a fan, which is Black Art Records.
Hmm.
And she's like, I don't think Joan's meeting anybody today. I'm like, that's okay. That just made my day. And then she brought us backstage and I saw her and I was just like, I wasn't prepared, but she's very like, she's like tough. Like, I remember I said to her like something stupid, like, you saved my life, but it's true. But at the time I said it and it was the first thing I said to her. And she just like leaned against the wall. She's like, well, aren't you doing that now? Like kind of, real tough, real um, like like kind of a tomboy, like just, but cool. Like she's cool and she's genuine, Like I know, like one time I think the place we opened for her wasn't paying us great, so she gave us more money. Like that's the kind of person she is. Like her and Kenny, they're friends and they're good people, you know.
Yeah. I just talking to you, I just thought about this. I think I had a Joan Jett big giant poster up on my wall when I was a kid.
Me
Yeah.
too. That's why when I saw her, I was like, oh, she knows. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you see through the veil of secrecy kind of thing. But yeah, yeah, me too, man.
No, that's great. Maybe I'll get a chance to talk to her one day. When you see her on this weekend, say you got to talk to my friend Meltdown. I've never.
I'm gonna say to her, you need to talk to Meltdown at Riff because he loves you and he's never met you.
Yeah, that's right.
He'll
Yeah,
love it.
and exactly. That's exactly what I think she'd be like. Kind of like like maybe like a modern day kind of like Lizzie Hale.
Yes.
Lizzie's such a badass, but Lizzie's very outgoing. I don't. Is Joan Jett really outgoing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We've opened for her a number of times, and they always gave us longer and longer sets, and they've always taken a minute to say hi. Like I said, it's a very small organization. There's probably like maybe 15 tops people, and it's always the same people. She's had the same sound guy for, I don't know, like 30 years, 25 years. Billy. I know everybody on her team, Billy, Zach, guitar tech, Gary, sometimes guitar tech. So you definitely see the loyalty and the love, you know. And Beef, shout out to Beef. He's the crew head. He's amazing. Amazing guy.
So let's talk about your band. You guys have an EP coming out, So Holy. The first single is out right now. So tell me what's going on. Once again, you guys went to Sweden because you guys have done this before, correct?
Yeah, and we're going, I think this year we're expanding beyond Sweden, which we've been trying to do for a while, is get some good gigs outside while we're in Europe, play some more
Well, I'm,
places.
I'm talking about the recording You went to Sweden to
Oh,
record this again.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that came about because a guy that's done a couple of our singles out there, because you go out there, you meet other musicians, you meet producers. It's a much smaller musical community than the States because everybody kind of knows everybody. It's like the North and the South, and that's it. So, and a lot of the South people go North. Anyway, the Sulu, this guy Sulu, who's worked with us, said, "I want to meet you for lunch," and we met him for lunch, and we were late as usual. And he's like, "Oh, you're 20 minutes late." I'm like, when all of a sudden did anyone care about that? And so, but he wanted to talk to us about working with Tomas. So he's like, listen, I think it'd be great for your band to keep developing and work with Tomas Skogsberg. And Tomas, Travis knew who he was right away. I was like, I knew the Helicopters, but I didn't know he worked with Entombed. It's like one of the biggest metal bands that came out of Sweden and Forerunner in a lot of ways, which he'd be able to tell you about a little more. But he like has this buzzsaw sound that he tends to use. And I was like, man, I don't know. And I hadn't worked with a different producer in a while, but it was time. And so when we went out there, he's got like a farmland, and you stay on the property. It's very like humble, it's very small, and he really just wants to, his big thing right away was, I hear a lot of punk kind of attitude in what you do. I want to capture more of that. We sat down around a picnic table with coffee and just kind of discussed what he heard and how he was going to move ahead. And he really is big on capturing the band more than changing it to be something else. He's one of those type of producers, which I honestly didn't know, but I was ready for a change, and he just came along at the right time, and it was so good. We're going to go back and do a full album with him, probably in August, if not
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. The first single, it's very like punk, very raw.
Yeah. Yeah. The first two really are. And honestly, the whole album or EP, I should say, we did an EP on purpose because I felt like, okay, these are 5 songs that are making a statement and are definitely have a theme, and they go together. And everybody was trying to kind of push us towards an album. And I was like, I think we need to do an EP first. This feels right. And then we'll go back in and do an album. Let's take some time, regroup. This is new for us. And also like, let's see how we feel playing these songs live. If they feel like a breath of fresh air, and they do. So we started last year doing some of the songs before they were fully produced, and it felt really good after we worked with him to do them the new way. And honestly, he didn't change anything that we had written. He added to it, which isn't always the approach of producers. Sometimes they go like, "This sounds better," and "This is more of you," or whatever. This guy like he really like just added, and I noticed that right away. And I also noticed he used very old equipment, and I was like, I don't know, man, like you know what I mean? But we really went in going, we want a new experience. We'll see what happens. Like what's the worst that can happen? And it was great. And so far it's going really well, letting it out into the world so far. So we'll see. But I definitely want to work with him again, and the band wants to work with him again. So at least one album will be coming out of Sweden again with us.
And but now, what's the name of the EP?
Confessions from the Vina Cava.
Okay, now what does that mean?
Okay, so I was saying this yesterday that we basically I was at the gym and I was watching Million Dollar, whatever it is, where they call phone a friend and do 50-50. It was like a
Oh,
repeat of some old. Anyway, one of the answers was Vena Cava, and it was basically it's the biggest vein in the body that takes deoxygenated blood and reoxygenates it in the heart and puts it back out. So to me, I was like, that's it. And I was like, it's a metaphor because I was struggling with the title. I was thinking one of the songs, usually titles come a lot faster, but I was like, that's it. It's like it was like trying to breathe fresh air into what we did and like trying to really get deeper as artists, like just get more honest and authentic. Um, and I think any artist just wants to become less and less afraid to say publicly what they feel. So I think that's kind of it. Like you just want to speak your voice, like use your voice, and it felt really good. So I thought that title makes sense. It sounds very dramatic, but I want to like build a story around it because there really is a story around everyone's album. But unless you really let the world in on what the story is, it's like it's really just the band story. So I kind of made a conscious decision to make it like a very dramatic title to so that people would, want to know why Confessions, why a secret, why,
Mhm.
what's going on there. And because there is a story and we've been around a little bit, so we want to like show whoever our fans are and whoever grows comes into our world like who we really are, you know.
Well, it's good that you didn't name the EP Phone a Friend.
That's I was thinking of it, but I thought the band won't buy this one as well. They didn't necessarily buy that one either, just so you know. It's never an easy process when I come up with something like that. They're like, I don't get it.
Hey, by the way, so who's in the band now?
Oh well, there's me. I'm definitely always in it.
Yeah.
Bree,
Yeah,
Brianna plays
yeah, for sure.
drums,
Yeah.
Travis on bass,
Yep.
and we have Mike Jaffe with us the last, I guess, well, you've known us a while now because it's been 3 years.
Has it been that long? Okay, all right.
Yeah, Mike's been with us 3 years, and then because of the different levels we do, sometimes we do it just the four of us. Sometimes we add a second guitar. Sometimes we add a keyboard. It's like the bigger shows, we tend to bring more people on, but we have a guy, Justin, that usually plays second guitar. And then we actually, because we recorded overseas, we had a really good friend out there, Lars, in a band Diamond Dogs, who's a phenomenal guitar player. So we just had him play along with Mike on the record.
Well, I was going
He's
to
just,
say, if you're recording overseas, you have to have someone named Lars.
I mean, it's like kind of mandatory. So. There's a few Lars that we know out there actually now that you're saying that. Anyway, yeah.
Not yeah. There's only one that lives here in the States that I can think of. But
Yeah.
anyways,
I like
so
it.
when is the EP coming out?
September 12th, Friday.
Okay, so we've got a while here.
Yeah, but we just released So Holy, and
Yeah.
then we're releasing a second single, All Right, Okay, May 16th. And then our third one comes out in August, Body in the Backyard, which we plan to be around Halloween time. And
Ah,
then the EP comes out. And there's only two more songs on the EP. So there's 5 songs total.
gotcha. So I don't know if I ever talked about to you about this, but are you a big Halloween fan?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I don't know if we've
all
heard.
of us are.
What about horror
Never
movies?
talks about what?
I don't know.
Listen, Travis and Brianna are big graveyard. They love graveyards. Big vinyl people. Obviously, we always meet
Yeah.
and we do vinyl. And Halloween's our thing. Like I started a podcast all about like horror and because I'm also a literature nerd. If you did not know this about me, like I love reading stories, short stories, Halloween stories. I love horror. I love horror movies. I just did a whole thing on The Shining.
Okay.
I just like talking about it. Like to me, it's so interesting and here's the other thing, Meltdown. I'm genuinely afraid if I watch horror movies on my own, like I won't sleep. Isn't that messed up? Like, how do you love horror, but you can't watch horror movies? I don't know. I can't stand when people twist, like exorcisms, not for me, not for
Yeah.
me. But I watch it if there's someone with me. And then I have to have somebody sleep over because I literally can't take exorcisms. Like it scares me.
All
I'm like,
right.
how
If I have to, I guess I'll have to. But
yeah.
no. But so Have you watched any of the latest horror movies that have been out?
Yeah, I mean, Nosferatu, I'm not gonna lie, I got dressed up for her. A friend of mine does horror makeup and she made my eyes bleeding. It was
That's right.
awesome.
Yeah, I texted you about that. That's right.
Yes, you did. It was Christmas Day, and nobody else went to that theater except the two of us. And I was like, what is wrong with, did you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't it good?
Yeah,
It's
Christmas night. Then I went and saw it again the second time. But I recently saw The Monkey, which I thought was really fun.
I
Terrifier.
just saw that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just saw the monkey too. It was different. It was like the guy who plays the main character is very like he's very straight, like he's very dry, monotone. Do you notice he doesn't like the only time he lifts his voice is like once in I think when he's trying to get his kid out of the motel after the rubber leg hit him. You know that's a Robert Rodriguez fan right there, right? Or was
Yeah.
it Quentin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you can
they,
tell.
they said that the kills were supposed to be reminiscent of Ren and Stimpy, and
Really?
some of the kills were kind of funny.
They were very like remember the rubber leg that they reminded me of Death Proof. Remember
Oh
when her
yeah,
leg
yeah, yeah,
comes
yeah,
off?
yeah,
I thought he's got it because it was like the murder scenes were so over the top, like silly, but also like grotesque. You're like, this totally reminds me of that style. That makes sense. Yeah, I like that movie a lot. I just saw it like 2 nights ago. I
yeah.
rented it.
Oh, that's yeah. I should watch it again. I just saw a Woman in the Yard, which I thought was okay. Trying to remember what else I saw. Of course, are you a Terrifier fan? You like that goofy kind of?
I actually only saw half of one Terrifier, and it wasn't because I didn't like it. It was just the circumstances where I was at someone's house and I had to leave halfway through it. And I was like, I kind of want to watch the rest of that. Everybody I know is a Terrifier fan. Travis is a Terrifier fan. Brianna, a friend of ours, Dawn, they love the Terrifiers. They're like, you need to watch it because they always talk about it. And I'm always like, I still haven't watched it. So maybe I'll watch that tonight, actually.
Those
What do
movies are dumb and fun.
That's what I like. Dumb and fun. It works for me.
I should start a horror movie podcast. I've always thought about that. I do
You
have
should.
a podcast called Haunted Michigan, and we do
Yes.
I have gone on several. I just did a paranormal investigation live on Facebook about 3 weeks ago here at a place called Eloise, like it's an old insane asylum. Not a whole lot of not a whole lot of activity that day, but I will text you something that happened when
Yes.
I was with the guys from the funeral portrait last August, and something screamed or made a crazy noise outside the room we're in, and it was insane. I'll send it to you. It's only 25 seconds, but that was
Meltdown. Send that to me because I've seen that. I've heard somebody talking in another room when I was with somebody else, and I was like, that was pretty clear. And we both looked at each other, and I was like, that's the only time I ever actually heard like a physical voice. And I
oh,
know I wasn't wrong because the other person was there, and we both, but it wasn't scary. Like, were you scared?
well, we were kind of. At first, I thought it was like someone just screwing with us, and then
Yeah.
I had friends of mine on the upper floor, and they said they didn't hear anything, and everybody that was with us was in this room, and it clearly came from outside the room. And as time went on, I'm like, I don't know what that was, and I still don't know what it was. So,
Were you, but like, I've always thought if I heard something like a disembodied voice, I'd be scared. And I wasn't scared. I was just like, did I just hear a disembodied voice? I
yeah.
knew that existed, but I also didn't know that existed. You know what I mean? There's always that like skeptic in your head too.
Oh, I'm super
Have
skeptical.
that in common.
Yeah, yeah, I'm super skeptical because it's like, look, I just did that live, a few weeks ago, and it's like I'm not going to sit there and pretend that things are happening when they're not.
No,
Okay, if
no.
something is happening, I will say, we were there and a flashlight turned on a few times. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know what that was. I'm not gonna, go nuts over it, but it's like, okay, it went on. I don't know what to tell you. It's like it went on and off. I don't know, and you know,
Yeah. There's
I'll,
unexplainable things that happen and we don't know what it means.
right? You've heard of the Estes method?
No.
So that's where somebody will listen in headphones, sound deafening headphones. They'll listen to a spirit box. They go into an area where there's been some activity before. In this case, it was the hydrotherapy room where they're in this bathtub. And we got this girl's name, Mabel, blah, blah, blah. So I'm live on Facebook, and the girl's sitting in the bathtub. And what they do in the bathtub, or whoever has the headphones on, is they just shout stuff out of things that they hear. And so this Mabel kept coming up, different things like that. And somebody on Facebook said, see if they can bang on something. And a couple seconds later, there was this crash on the other end of the hallway, and I thought it was a kid that was with us. And I looked around the corner, and he was standing right there. So I don't know what that was.
Oh, I got chills. See, you need to put that down there. All of us want to see that. And you need to text it to me immediately
All right.
because
Well, that's on my Facebook as well. But
yeah, I'll check it out because I really love that stuff. I
anyways,
could
yeah,
tell you hours
I
more
was
of
just gonna say that we could talk hours more, but
yeah.
I have another meeting to go to. But I just want to get you on, talk about the new song. Any tours are going to be going on this summer? You mentioned kind of on this one through Chicago. Anyone we know that we're playing with?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm playing we're playing with L7 at Motoblah in Chicago, June 28th. So we're doing a Midwest tour around that the week before. And then we always go to West Coast the last week in July because we always do the same rock and roll flea market out in Alameda. And then we hit Long Beach and LA, probably going to hit San Diego. And Joshua Tree would be a first for us. So we're trying to arrange that for July. And then we start working on our album in August. And then we play after we're done recording that, we're gonna hit some dates in Sweden and then Northeast US and then Norway at to end the year.
Well, anyone looking for a straight ahead raw rock band, look no further than Soraia. And of course, Sue. Sue, thanks so much for taking some time to talk. It's always great to see you. It seems like it's been forever.
I know it always does.
Yeah.
I
Well,
miss your dog too.
maybe I'll post a couple more later.
Good. We all love your dog.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Zoo. Thanks so much for talking, and we'll check in with you soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Meltdown. Love you. Mwah.